All right, Jim. At what point did you decide in Plagueis' story that it would lead into the Phantom Menace, that he'd still be alive at that time?
It was early on in the process. After I was sort of asked if I was interested in doing a Plagueis novel, and I thought to myself, I definitely would like to do it, but I was worried that we know how this ends. We know that Plagueis. We've already heard that Plagueis is killed by Sidious. How do we create a surprise, something new in the novel? So I asked Lucasfilm, basically the top people over there, is it possible that Plagueis was alive into the Phantom Menace? And they said they were okay with it. So once they did that, then I was totally on board, because I figured at least I had that element of surprise that would keep everybody reading.
Which Star Wars character would you say intrigues you the most?
I do have a fascination with the darker characters like Sidious and even Dooku, Plagueis. I guess the ones that are right in the middle, the ones that are transitioning either from dark to light or light to dark, because I think there's a lot of movement in the character, and you can play around with a lot of moral issues.
Would you ever consider giving Count Dooku the Plagueis treatment, a full-length novel?
I thought about it for a while, but then the more I investigated the amount of continuity that's already there, the more I started to worry about doing that. And I think what worries me more is I don't know where he's going in the Clone Wars. I think that the Clone Wars could overwrite a lot of the existing continuity, and that could just be a real nightmare in the end.
You said you keep up to date with the Star Wars novels. Which one makes you laugh the most?
Which writer?
Yeah, which writer makes you laugh the most?
I guess I get the most laughs out of Aaron's books. I mean, there's always a little bit of humor. Sometimes even Matt Stover makes me laugh, even though he's usually dead serious. I mean, there's some elements to his novels that crack me up, So I enjoy those immensely also.
What's your primary motivation in your storytelling?
I would like to get characters. I would like to get readers engaged in characterization and character arc transitions in characters. I know that a lot of my books are heavy on plot, but I really try and have the plot spring from characters.
If you could try telling a different type of Star Wars story, like a comedy or detective story, even a romance or something, what would you like to try?
Oh, I love that idea. I won't do I'll have to say I won't do the mystery, because Michael Reeves is already sort of on top of that noir mystery thing. A Star Wars comedy, if I could take some of that away from Seth Green, I would love to try that. I think that would be great.
Are you working on anything right now? Any upcoming books, either Star Wars or not?
I am, but I can't divulge anything that's going on in the Star Wars world. I do have a novel that I just recently put on as an e-publication, but it's about the ancient Maya. It's very different than Star Wars. Is it fiction
or non-fiction?
It's fiction. It's fiction.
Is it modern times or back?
No, it's set during the time of the classic Maya, and it's kind of an action-adventure story.
What sort of writing method do you use when you write a book? Like Troy Denning says he does a very structured plot when he writes. Paul Kemp, for example, says he likes to write out of order when he writes.
I went through this a little bit on this panel that I gave, this writer's workshop. I spend a lot of time telling myself the story, and I don't put anything down on paper until I could sit down with you and tell you the entire story. I might not be able to give you all the dialogue, and I don't know, certain twists I might not have worked out, but I spend a lot of time planning the story in my head, and then finally it's almost like I can't wait any longer. The dam bursts and I have to start working on the mechanics of actually getting it down on paper.
Do you still do an outline?
I do an outline at that point, just to kind of guide myself through the story that I'm going to take, and that outline I can, work with it, expand it, constrict it as necessary.
If you could have every Star Wars reader read one of your non-Star Wars books, which one would you want them to be?
It would definitely be this Maya novel. The ancient Maya are very, very close to my heart. I've spent a lot of time in Guatemala, Mexico, and Honduras, hiking to the most remote Mayan sites that haven't even been excavated. And I have always been, for 40 years, I've been drawn to the Maya and had a great time crafting this novel.
Now, that's actually a great lead-in to my next question. You've traveled a lot. Alan Dean Foster travels a lot, and he spoke about writing a non-fiction book just on his travels. Have you ever considered writing a book on your own experiences?
I actually did, and it was kind of a bittersweet book because years ago my best friend and frequent collaborator Brian Daly, who's contributed some great novels to the Star Wars universe, when he died, we traveled a lot together, and there was one Mayan site that we always wanted to get to, a very, very remote site. Brian died before we could go there, so I decided that I would take some of his ashes, his cremation ashes, to that site. And I did actually write a kind of a memoir about my relationship with Brian and our long friendship and our travels, and told the story of my efforts to reach this archaeological site.
So that was published?
I know. In the end, it never found a home, and I may make it available as an ebook at some point.
Now, on your Wikipedia page, so I don't know if it's right or not, it says you do woodworking. What type of woodworking do you do?
Well, I was a carpenter for years and years, so I've done everything from framing houses to building furniture. And Karen Ann and I live in a log cabin in Annapolis that was built in 1938, and which I've spent a lot of years restoring and doing a lot of woodworking on.
So is that a hobby you still do?
For a long time I was a professional. Now it's kind of a hobby, and it's just anything to get me away from the keyboard. Really.
What's the best thing you've seen at Celebration 6 so far?
I saw a really good Sidious. I was really impressed. I saw a really cool Aura Singh. I just love the costumes. I've been just running around with my cell phone, capturing her. Actually, one of my favorite moments was standing between two slave girls, two very willowy slave girls.
About a couple hours ago, I saw Darth Vader and Darth Sidious force choking two people dressed as Star Trek officers.
Nice.
Where would you like to see the future of Star Wars storytelling go?
Very good question. For a number of years, Brian and I collaborated in adapting a series called Robotech, which came from Japanese anime, and it was really a space opera, but it really had a lot. It was very character driven, with a lot of really cool relationships that were going on in the midst of these galactic events. And I would love for Star Wars to return more to that kind of romance, that sort of classic space opera.
In your opinion, what would be Luke Skywalker's worst mistake?
Worst mistake? Probably thinking that he knew it all.
And what would you say Palpatine's best decision was?
It wasn't killing Plagueis, because he probably killed Plagueis too soon. His best decision. I may have to save that for a future novel.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, sure. That was great.